Hi YouTube, this is Darkon633 back with another Star Wars review. Today we're going to take a look at the Star Wars The Last Jedi Battle on Crait Multi-Pack. Now this is actually a pretty weird set, since it actually includes figures that I didn't expect that were actually going to be in the set, especially since the name Battle on Crait really kind of expected to see that Luke would be a part of the set, but it seems like once again they were not able to put the figure in the set, or they just decided not to, because possibly the same reason why the other Lukes haven't been released until the following film. So anyways, we're going to take a look at the box and the features first. So, first, looking at the box, it's in a very colorful design, similar to other figures that we've seen with the Last Jedi. This is Star Wars The Last Jedi there. Shows that it is Force Link compatible. Has a picture of all four figures, well, likenesses of the figures anyways, and it actually has a bio for all four characters on the back. So, that's pretty cool what we've seen so far. In terms of contents, you get 4 figures, 3 being unique and 1 being a repaint of a previously released figure, or multiple times should I say for Rey. The 3 new figures that are included in the set are the First Order Gunner, the First Order Walker Driver, and Rose based on her look on the Battle of Crait. Now, in terms of the overall what you get in the set, it's pretty good since you're actually getting 4 figures, and this retails for around $22 to $25 depending on where you get it. And because you're pretty much spending about, let's say, $6 or so a figure, I don't think it's too bad even if you end up getting another Rey. In terms of actual contents otherwise, you include a blaster for the First Order Gunner, a blaster for the First Order Walker Driver, another blaster for Rose, and the same accessory seen with the other Rey releases, which includes her staff, her lightsaber, and her blaster. So just looking at the contents, it's pretty good for what it is. Obviously, it could have been a lot better overall from what we get. So I give this about a 4.5 out of 5 just because the character choice was a little bit strange. Now, we're going to move on to the features. So first, we're going to take a look at the First Order Gunner. Now, in terms of our overall design, this is definitely a very bland design. It does have the First Order logo here, and that's about it. It does have a lot of detailing due to the bagginess of the suit, but it's definitely a more bland design, even for an Imperial kind of gunner designed character. The head is on a standard ball joint, with the swivels as well on the shoulders, and the same thing for the hips. So you're not going to get a whole lot there. As I mentioned earlier, it does include this pistol, which is seen with a lot of the First Order kind of officer characters. So that's about it for that figure. Next, we're going to take a look at the Walker Driver. Now, this is definitely reminiscent to a Snow Trooper, as we've seen in The Force Awakens, but it definitely has a lot cooler design. I really like the gray instead of the full-on white and black that we see with a lot of Stormtroopers in general, so it definitely breaks up the monotony. I think it looks nice, even if it's definitely not something that I don't think everyone wants, especially since they never actually made a actual in-scale vehicle or any actual Hasbro vehicle for it to tell. Maybe in the titanium line, I don't really follow that of this particular Walker design for this trooper. The head is on a standard ball joint, swivels at the shoulders, and swivels at the hips with the fused joints. As mentioned earlier, it does include the blaster, which is pretty much just a Snow Trooper blaster, and a backpack, which is removable, which I can see as a shield, but I'm not really sure exactly where that actually comes into place, but I see a lot of photos that it's like that. Next, we're going to take a look at Rose. Now, with Rose here, it's not bad. It has a pretty okay likeness to the actress. It does maintain the standard ball joint on the head. She does have swivels at the shoulders, although she actually has wrist joints, so that's pretty good. And she does maintain the same swivels there. The blaster that she includes with is pretty much just the rifle blaster kind of deal that we see with a lot of Resistance kind of characters. And this is actually removable to show that she does have an undershirt, and similar to what we've seen in the film, she does include, well, not really include since it's molded, the actual necklace that she actually wore around her neck in the film. So that's pretty good that they actually molded that in and painted it, so that's really cool that you actually have that. But in terms of overall figure, it's definitely not the most important figure ever made in the line. Fortunately, mine does have a few problems with QC, since it does have a little bit of a hard time standing due to the fact I think her legs are warped, but that's about it. Now we're going to take a look at Rey. Now, if you actually have other versions of this Rey, you're not going to get a whole lot of difference here. It does have a little bit more of a sandy kind of color to the boots, because it is supposed to represent Battle of Crait, even though she never was really in that battle to begin with, so that's kind of weird. She does have the same staff that we've seen ever since Rey from The Force Awakens. The same kind of lightsaber, since it is still Luke's blue lightsaber, and the pistol on the side as well. She does maintain the same ball joint at the head, swivels at the shoulders, and swivels at the hips. Unfortunately, they did not add the wrist joints, which they could have done to at least make something a little bit more than just paint, but you pretty much get the idea. So anyways, in terms of contents of the set, I think it's pretty good for what it is, but due to, once again, just the character selection is a bit strange, at least for the feature-wise, I think this is about, let's just make it about a 4 out of 5 as well. We're actually going to do something a little bit different this time, and I'm actually going to pan to the several sounds, since I pre-recorded the sounds for the Force Link. So we'll move on from there, and then go on to comparisons.
I think I can handle myself. I'm not leaving without you. Follow me. I'm ready for my mission. Quickly! Stormtroopers are coming. You can't give up on the resistance.
Orders received. We need more troops. Call in the airstrike. Fight for the First Order. Reporting for duty. Scramble all squads. Repeat, scramble all squads. They're getting away. Resistance scum.
Now we're going to move on to comparisons first. So, we're going to take a look at just the basic Rey that you've seen with the main line. This is the Rey that actually came with the Elite Praetorian Guard in the 2-packs. I did not get the single card one, and it's pretty much what you expect between the two Reys. What's actually interesting is not only is the paint different, but it seems like even the expression is actually different too. This one looks more of a confused, kind of worried look. Trying to get it into focus. Well, this one's a little bit more of a serious, kind of angry look. So that's kind of cool that actually has even just the different expressions. And I actually like this version of Rey a lot better than what we've seen with the previous release. But other than that, that's pretty much what you get between the two Reys. Now we're going to take a look at the three main outfits of Rose throughout the film that they at least released in the Last Jedi toy line. We actually have the standard Resistance outfit here, her First Order disguise, and then the Battle of Crait. In terms of overall head sculpt, I think this one is okay. I like this one a little bit better, but I think they did an okay job at least designing the figures based on the character, and it's really nice that we actually got several variants throughout the line, since it doesn't seem like they do a lot of variants as much nowadays, aside of maybe like Finn and maybe Poe Dameron. Now here's the First Order Walker driver next to the other standard Stormtroopers and Captain Phasma that we've gotten so far. I think Hasbro once again did a fantastic job at releasing all these variants, and I can't stress enough that I'm really impressed with what we've gotten so far. Obviously, most of these are not going to be super articulated, but it's nice for those who just want to display a bunch of the other troopers together, since we could have easily not gotten most of these trooper variants or just repacks in a clever way so that we actually were able to get a bunch of troopers throughout the multiple lines. And then finally, we're going to take one final comparison between the two versions of the gunners. The one on the right is based on one of the Battlefront games. This is one of the older ones before EA, for those who don't know. And the one on the left, obviously, is the First Order gunner. It's definitely got a lot of reminiscent of the the Empire's gunner from the Death Star, but I think they did an okay job with the design, even if it does look a bit strange. So anyways, that concludes my review for this particular set. I got this from Target.com, and it's definitely worth, in my opinion, from the set. It's definitely better if you get this on sale, since it's not a spectacular set by any means. But I think Hasbro did a pretty good job, at least in terms of releasing this particular set. Anyways, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and check out Hero Club and Hero Taku. Also check out Twitter, Darkon633, and don't forget to check down the other channels down below. Please check the little bell at the bottom of the screen to receive my content go up as soon as possible. I'm back with more Star Wars reviews and more, but for now, I'll be seeing you later, YouTube. Bye.